Okay guys, my name's Paul and I am no mechanic. I have this Lexus SC430 and I am going to repair the Mark Levinson 6x9 speaker, which anybody who has this car knows, especially this is an O2, knows that they just go bad and they rattle and I can't stand it anymore. I've already done the other door. I didn't think to do a video on it. It's kind of a pain in the butt. I'm going to try to do this step by step. There are some directions on Club Lexus, and I've used those, so the guy who did it, I don't remember his name, gets complete credit for this, but some of the things like not breaking clips and trying to pry loose some of the other areas of the panel I'm going to try to help with, and hopefully this helps out. I'm going to stop it here and there and try to edit it a little bit later on and see what we can come up with. Alright guys, first thing to do is unhook the battery post. Simple enough. If you don't, like, the headlights will stay on and some other things will stay on forever, and if you're like me and take forever to do it, you don't want everything running for that long a time, so do that first. Alright guys, next thing we're going to be fooling with is just going around the door to kind of show you where we're going to be working. So we want the speaker behind this panel. I know a lot of people have trouble with this smaller one right here. That one's working fine, and there's a little tiny tweeter right there. That's still working cool in my car. This one, it is vibrating just a little bit. I can really hear it when it's the bass is thumping, but I don't ever run it too loud because I don't want to tear anything else up, and I'm certainly not going to go and try to do the aftermarket speakers, which just seems like a complete pain in the butt. So we're going to fool with that. There are, let's see if we can get down here, screws underneath here, like right there, and another one right up in there. You know, they're kind of underneath the stripping. Next thing, we've got this little trick here, this right here, and we're going to take off the cover around the handle, and we're going to take this out too, and be careful not to drop anything down in there, which is completely possible because I almost did it last time and couldn't get it back out. Now there is another trick which everyone seems to talk about, are these clips. I don't know if it's going to show up too well, these black clips right here. Now the trick to these are pushing them in and then pulling them back out, and that keeps them from breaking instead of trying to force them loose. Alright, so let's do clip here. Kind of push it in. Push it in. I'm just using a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm going to kind of pull it just like that. No big deal. Still in one piece. Put it somewhere where you can see it. Same deal here. I've already pushed it in. There's a little center mechanism right there. It kind of goes in, and then when you put it back in there, it kind of pops back out. So now we didn't break anything. Alright, let's do some screws. Kind of hard to do this stuff one-handed. Watch what I'm doing and watch the camera. It may get to a point where I have to put it on a stand and go from there. And I'm also sure there are lots of guys who are going to go, man, this guy did it the hard way. You know, he doesn't know what he's doing. Well, you're right. Probably doing it the hard way. And no, I don't know what I'm doing. Although I was able to do one speaker, and I figure I can do the other one. I'm sure there's a lot of people who can do it in a fraction of the time, but maybe that's what they do for a living. Okay, I put this on a stand, and hopefully you guys will be able to see what we're going to do here. Best thing to do is make sure you wrap the screwdriver with some tape to keep from breaking your leather. I'm going to try a couple different sizes here. There's a little tab in here we have to hit so we don't tear anything up. That's it right there. So that's the tab we're talking about. It needs to be pushed in, you know, when you're lifting this out. So we're going to disconnect this module. Actually, I might not disconnect it. I'm going to see if I can get to fooling with it without it. You know, I'm sure I could apply more pressure, but it is a 10-year-old car, and plastic, you know, sort of breaks down over the years, so I'm just making sure I don't crack anything. There. There's a little tab in here I was missing, right there. All right, I'm going to set this out of the way. All right. Next thing we're going to do is pop out this little panel here. Not breaking it. Alright, like that. Alright, still in one piece. Just tabs that clip around. It's always a little nerve-wracking to fool with this little piece of plastic because you know what can happen. Alright, I'm going to take some screws out. This is where you got to be careful not to drop the screws down in the holes you've already made. We got that one, then we got one right here. Sorry guys, there's not any better light in here. I really don't have a spot. It's sort of cloudy and raining right now. Screw. Alright, we're going to take off this black piece right here, and it just pops off. It's a lot easier than the other side. I think I was maybe trying too hard. There you go. Alright. Got a couple more screws here under the door handle, kind of like in this area. Alright guys, I'm going to stop for a second and just take a look at what I got and get back to you. Alright, that was the section. I'm sorry I didn't have the camera aimed good. Right there under the door handle is where I just took that one single screw from. So took the screw out of there, took the plastic insert out of there, screw out of here, the front clips up there, and I'm going to stop for a second and go back and look. Alright, I'm going to do the bottom 3 screws under the stripping. Okay, the door panel wants to start coming loose. I'm trying to make sure I don't have any other clips in the way. I don't think I do. Let's see what happens. So, there are some white clips that are kind of permanent. They really don't pop out. You'll see them behind here. You just kind of have to give the handle, the door handle, a kind of upward nudge, and it'll pop loose. Now, last time, actually, I replaced the 6x9 without completely removing the whole door panel. I just sort of tilted it out. I was having trouble getting it to lift off up here, and I was applying a lot of pressure, and I didn't, maybe I was doing something wrong, but I couldn't get the whole thing to lift off without me feeling like I was going to break it, so I quit and just pushed it away like that. If you're just dealing with the 6x9, you can get away with that, and that may be what I do this time. Now, it's going to be a little bit dark and difficult, but I don't think I'm actually going to show the removal of the speaker. It's pretty straightforward once you get to this part. The speaker bracket's got some screws in it. You pop it loose, you unplug the speaker. And what I will do, though, is kind of show you how I repaired it earlier. I'm sure someone can do a neater job. What I did worked fine. Basically, the foam around the outside of the speaker was rotten. It was completely dry rotted and flaking away, and I'll show you that. And the center piece was sort of coming loose. So I filled that in with some sealant, not the blue stuff. They use the 587 blue, but some other sealant, and it worked fine too. Still working fine today. So I'm going to stop for a few minutes and gather my stuff. Alright, I am going to just do a little segment on the speaker removal. You won't be able to see anything, but I'm going to do it anyway. I may include it, I may not. Now this spot actually takes a socket, and I believe this is a, let's see, 10 millimeter. Now the two bottom ones, you can see fine. I think I did the other ones by feel. If I had to take the whole panel off, it'd be a lot easier, but like I said, I was trying to pull on it earlier, and I'm sure I'm just not doing something quite right. So I'm not going to force it though. Oh yeah, and I forgot to tell you, there's a little tape here we have to cut, so it'll pull away. It's like a little blue tape on this side, kind of holding the wiring harness to a little plastic tab in there. It keeps me from getting to the last screw. So let me get a razor. So So time to be careful so I'm not the dumbass on YouTube that cut his finger fixing his car. I'm just kind of pulling away the speaker a second. I got one last screw to get here. I've got like a white plastic tab that's sort of in the way. Won't do me any good really to bring the camera over here because it's so dark and that camera kind of sucks. So once you get in there, you'll see what I'm talking about. Try to go in from this direction. Alright, I'm going to cut the video while I do that last screw. Okay guys, now this is the interesting part. The reason I didn't finish taping that last bit, me pulling the speaker out with the last screw, was, see, this is the little tab I was talking about, and there's a little piece of tape here, and that's sort of taped around the wiring harness, and right behind that is a screw hole. Well, I got it out, but I couldn't do it without a lot of profanity, so I was trying to keep it clean. So anyway, you just have to work that way the best you can. You know, I got big hands and not a small guy, so anyway, I got it out. So this is what I want to show you before I have to charge this stupid thing, and I'm going to fix it. So you can see around the edge. Let's see if I can, here's a good spot. It's all coming loose. You know, this is not the best camera. See, it's peeling loose right here. You know, I didn't do that. It's breaking. It's just torn completely loose from the edge, and that causes it to vibrate. And essentially, it just is, you can put your finger to it in this area here. You can sort of see. Well, maybe you can't see. The lighting kind of sucks. You can see up around the edge where it's all peeling away. You know, I didn't do that. It was like that when I pulled it out. So, and you really can't see the edges are just sort of flaking off. Also, the center, I guess you can maybe kind of see the, you know, it's just sort of pulled loose around here. So basically what I'll do is I bought the speaker repair kit from Simply Speakers. It sort of just goes back around here like that. And basically though, I have to trim it. You kind of have to trim, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 millimeters off the edge to make it fit in there right. And you know, you have to get the razor and trim this away, and then I'll refill it with just some silicone sealant around here, and I'll make it, it'll be right by the time I'm done, and that worked great last time. The rest of this piece was fine. There's the back of the speaker. It looks okay. I don't really see anything fried. Not that I would know, even if I was looking at it. There's the Mark Levinson logo. Alright, and here in a little bit I'll try to show you guys some of the fix. Alright, so I'm going to start taking the foam that's messed up around the speaker off, and I've actually already started. So you can tell right here where it was attached in this section. Just start pulling it away and just work yourself all the way around the edge. I'm going to kind of need two hands to do this, so I'm going to let the camera go. And so you see what I'm doing here, just kind of easing it off. See if I can get a little closer. Kind of see what I'm talking about here. And so that's the edge of the speaker here. And then what I'm going to do is, in a little bit, I'm going to come back and show you where to clean off around the edge and then put the glue down. So here is a picture of the edge of the damaged foam. You can see where it was cracking and dry rotting. So that's like not where I pulled it loose, but where it's actually started to peel off. Now this is a piece of the foam all in one. Now I've got the new piece. Now what I'm going to have to do is trim a few millimeters off here around the edge. I knew this from experience last time because I tried to lay it flush and it would start to override on the plastic rim. So that's not going to work. I could probably force it to come in a little bit more on the speaker fabric itself, but I think it looked a little bit better trimmed up. Now the next thing I'm going to do is see if I can show you here on the speaker edge. This section here where the foam was attached, you'll see some residue, and you just need to take a screwdriver, and I'm going to use two hands here in a second and just clean that out like that all the way around to make sure you get a good fit and you get a good application with the glue. Alright, here's the next section of the speaker repair. I'm just trimming off a little bit of the edge of the foam so it'll fit on the speaker bracket. Okay, so basically what I did after I finished cleaning out with the screwdriver around the edge, you'll see what I'm talking about, just getting out all the old foam. I took a bead of glue and put it around in here on the plastic part of the frame, and then after I finished cutting the foam, I started laying it down in here and matching it up and taking a screwdriver here a little bit and just tucking it in along the edge, and just work yourself around it. And then what we'll do is, when that dries up and sets up a little bit, we'll put some glue underneath here all around the foam and then kind of mash it down, and then I'm going to put some. Alright, so here's the new strip that goes around the edge of the speaker, and there is the new sealant in the middle, and I'm going to go put it back in the car and button it back up. Okay, I got the speaker back in. I'm going to try to kind of show you from underneath what it kind of looks like. See if it'll work with a little bit of light in there. So probably not. Yeah, the speaker's back in. Basically, I didn't really go through here and look at it sitting in there. Hard to get a camera in there, especially this little thing. Basically, the speaker's self-explanatory. Once you get it fixed, just 4 screws to hold it in. So now I'm going to button the door back up, put the screws back in where they go, and then I'm going to work on the antenna mast that's broken. That seems to be another issue. The only other thing I did today, I did replace the trunk latches. I'm sorry, the trunk lifts. They were worn out, but I'm not going to do anything as far as video goes on that. That was pretty easy. It took about 10 minutes, well, actually a little less than that. They popped off and popped right back on. I may write it up. I'll do a little review of the vendor.